search for it. Every week, PhilandAman search for it. Every week.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. No matter what time you're listening to the PhilandAman Search For podcast. Today, I am your host, and I am joined by Aman. Aman, why don't you give the folks a little bit of hello?
What's going on, guys? You know, we got a juicy podcast in store for you guys today, so I hope you guys are excited. And yeah, man, let's get to business. You know what it is.
Perfect. Great intro, as always. I love that one. So let's dive into it. What's on your mind this week, buddy? What's bugging you? What's good?
Shit, man. You know, it's still school. School sucks. What else has been bugging me, man? Something else happened. I'm gonna pass it to you, man. When I remember, I'm gonna let you know.
Sounds good. So what's been bugging me lately is fucking cars, man. Okay, one too many stories about cars this week. I got like 3 different instances. So about a month and a half ago, I was parked at home. I was inside playing video games. Just got back from having a, pretty shitty day. I was out with my girlfriend, though, and, she kind of made me feel a little bit better. I was getting home, ready to relax. Get home, not even 10 minutes later, I'm getting a knock at my door. My neighbor had a party, and one of her friends ended up backing up into my car. Full on, and I'm not talking, just a little bit of a, hit the bumper. I'm talking about she full on hit that motherfucker. And yeah, I had, the whole basically driver's side, bumper, headlight, my hood, all that shit was caved in. And then I had to go through insurance. I had to file a police report, and, I had to wait for it to, get approved by my insurance company. And they basically, they took it in, and it took them forever to finally actually get fixed and, find the time and order the parts. And so I finally got my car back, after, a few days there. And it's going good now, but fucking, as much as that was pissing me off, I finally get it back, and I'm back to driving on the road now, and I'm able to finally go and do errands and stuff like that. And I go to get a coffee, and I just noticed that these fucking drive-through lines are fucked, man. Every day, no matter what, people are afraid to go into, coffee shops or, restaurants or anything now. And I'm not talking just sit down. I'm just talking, go in, get your coffee or whatever. But people just, they fucking, shit's lined up to the road. No one wants to go in. And so it's easier for me because I go in, I get my coffee. Like this morning I went in, lined up to the road. I'm like, I'm going to go in. I got my coffee within 2 minutes, and I was back on the road. And, those cars still hadn't barely moved in the drive-through. So now I feel like a king because I got my coffee and I'm out of there real quick, real fast. But yeah, I don't know, man. I got another issue with cars about people not driving in fucking roundabouts too. That's my 3rd issue with them. It's fucking, there's so many being built around here lately, and they keep coming, and they're a great tool because it helps traffic flow.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait for the lights, but people don't know how to fucking use them.
Yeah.
I had a fucking guy, and he was driving in both lanes. He had a signal on, and that he was turning, but he ended up going straight, and he almost hit another car. And I'm just like, man, you at this point you should know how to drive in a roundabout, and if you don't, I just take your license away, bro. You don't deserve that license. You don't need to drive. You don't fucking deserve that chance.
Man, some people whip it around that roundabout too, man. You gotta turning that fast, going like that speed, man. I've seen people slide and shit in the winter and get into dirty accidents and shit, man. It's just a little bit of common sense goes a long way with those things, just go slow. Not so slow, but make sure you don't hit anybody, and be safe.
Yeah, for sure. No, exactly what you're talking about. Up near my school, there's actually quite a few roundabouts, and a lot of kids would just fly in the winter down that. Especially, I had this guy, and I think he was driving a Mustang last year, and my girlfriend actually lived just down 5 minutes down the road from my school, and it was a lot safer that night to actually end up getting to her house just because of how bad the weather and the snow was. And I was going slow as shit, and this fucking guy, he's in front of me, and he just rips it in this Mustang, no winter tires, no nothing, he just fucking, and yeah, and he ended up being in the fucking ditch, And man, it's just like you hate to see it, but sometimes it's just like common sense. People don't have it, and they have. I don't know if it's like more money than brains or what, but you can definitely tell that some people just think that their rules don't apply to them, basically, and it kind of that cheeses me, man.
Man. Speaking of really weird things that or not really weird things, but just my brain, because like I have a weird brain. I was watching this video earlier of this like. I guess this guy was like recording somebody after they threw out a cigarette on like this like side street in LA, and it started this like huge fucking fire. And like I just remember, instead of this guy fucking putting out the fire and like doing the smart thing, this motherfucker just stood there and like recorded it and then like accelerated. Like what the fuck, bro? Same kind of stupid guy, bro.
What the
I don't know,
fuck
that's just
is that?
the correlation my brain is making. But
No, that's definitely like it goes back to the whole like gender reveal too. Speaking on those, the fires in California and shit like that. Like people are just doing stupid shit. Like don't fuck with explosives. Pretty much is the base, but like especially when California knows they have the fucking the dry spells and that they have wildfire and then they have wildfires, massive ones, but people are just fucking doing stupid shit. They're like, oh my, it goes back to some people just think that they're better than other people. They're like, man. Yo, my baby's gender reveal is better, like it matters more, and fuck all these people, I'm gonna basically have their houses burned down because my baby's more important than your fucking house or your life and all that. And it just really definitely rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And like in the end, bro, what is that like fucking 20-minute interaction worth, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like that whole fucking 100%. Thing. Like, what is it really worth? Everybody's gonna know in like a year, man. They're gonna look at the kid and they're gonna be like, oh, it's sick, you had this or whatever.
Exactly. And like, let's be honest. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't have a kid, and I don't know really too many people that do have kids at our age. But is it really that big of a deal to like your friends? I guess maybe more your family and all that. And it's just like it's cool because like obviously if like I did know someone who had a kid, I'd be like, oh man, congrats on your baby, like good shit, because it's a big moment for a lot of people. And I'm not shitting on anyone that wants to celebrate that, but I the gender reveal, like, does anyone really flip out and go be like, yo, that person I went to high school with, they're having a boy, they're having a girl? Like, I don't know, like, I've seen people, and I'm just like, oh man, that person's having a girl, like, oh, it's very nice for her. But like, when they do these big extravagant reveals, I'm just like, who's it for? Is it for?
I think it's like partially for them because it's like such a new feeling that it's just like everything's so exciting about it that you go over the top with it. And it's like, honestly, like when you like see like a really like well done gender like reveal or whatever, like they always go like viral on the internet or like something like that. Somehow you end up seeing it, even if like that's not what you're looking for on the internet. Somehow it like finds you and shit. So like people maybe crave that attention. Like I don't know what it is, but
yeah, that's definitely true too. And I think, I guess a big part of it is kind of getting that attention, and kind of like it goes back to, people feeling, super important about themselves. And I guess it is, a good thing for parents who are new to, being parents. But I don't know, man. Sometimes people just, they definitely go over the top. And if you want to do that whole, don't use glitter, by the way. Fuck glitter. It gets everywhere. It's bad for the environment.
Yeah, it's super bad for the environment.
Yeah, man. So fuck glitter. But like, if you want to, I guess, do something like blue balloons, or I don't know, actually balloons I think are bad for the environment too. Fuck, man, don't listen to me. This is why. See, I'm providing more evidence on why we shouldn't do fucking gender reveals, because everything's bad for the environment. And you're creating fires, you're getting glitter, you're getting balloons. Fuck that. Just yell to the top of your lungs.
Having the construction paper, man. And Bristol board.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking, I'm getting some recycled newspaper, and I'm gonna spell out "it's a boy," man, and then I'm gonna recycle that newspaper again, and someone else can do the exact same idea. And this is how we're starting the new eco gender reveal parties, man. This is the new wave. I'm telling you. But yeah, man, fucking, that's pretty much all I got for this week. Those are the three main things, all involving people and vehicles, and it's been really grinding my gears. Very thankful to have my car back, though. I'm finally basically a free man. I can fucking go to the corner store and get myself a Gatorade now without having to. Yeah. Fucking blue Gatorade. That's the plug, man. That's the sponsor for this.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
But yeah, for real, man. It's fucking. Feels good. I'm a lot less cheese now. Yeah.
Well, do you find yourself like in general, like your general mood is a lot more like calm and like that kind of shit, but before you were like more agitated because you just like were in limbo before?
Honestly, for real, I was, man. Like, I'm not even shitting you. I would have people like, so people being my girlfriend, my family, fucking, friends or whatever. They'd be like, hey, man, like, oh, let's go here. Especially like my sister. She'd be like, hey, can we go to like, speaking of that, she'd be like, can we go to McDonald's? Can we go to the corner store? And she's 8 years younger than me, so she's 15, and she wants me to buy her shit because she has no money herself and all that. So on top of like her wanting me like to take her out every day and buy her fucking expensive shit every day, also I just didn't have a car to fucking go there, and so she wanted me to do things like like Uber Eats and shit. I'm like, yo man, I'm not fucking Uber Eating you food every day.
Yeah.
First of all, that's super unhealthy, very expensive, and like.
Yeah.
But she would ask me, or like my family would ask me every day, be like, oh, hey, my mom would be like, yo, can you go pick up milk from the grocery store? And I'd be like, I don't have a car, man. And my brother would be like, hey, I need to go to the bank or something. Can you take me? I'd be like, I don't have a car, man.
It was like a constant reminder, eh?
Yeah, and I swear to God, like the one morning I woke up and it was like 9 a.m. and I'm not a morning person at all, so like I'm a little grouchy, especially if I didn't get like a good night's sleep. And so the other day I woke up and I wasn't in the best mood and I was still just kind of like waking up, and I went to the washroom and I was talking to my family and to my mom, how was her day, and her leaving for work soon and all that. And my sister just right out of the gates, just like, oh, she's like, can we go to fucking the mall or something today? And I was just like, I don't have a car. I was like, I didn't sleep too well. I'm grouchy. I was just like, leave me alone. And she just kept asking and asking. And I was just like, how do you want me to get you there? How do you want me to like magically get a car and all that? And she's like, oh, we can Uber. We can do this. And it just really rubbed me the wrong way. And
Uber to the fucking mall,
Uber
bro?
to the mall, man. Yo,
What kind of grimy shit is that, bro?
From where we live, dude, that's like, it's like a $20 fucking ride, man. And it's like, it's not even that far. It's just Uber prices can be ridiculous.
Uber prices are nuts.
But yeah, so that day just really, really rubbed me the wrong fucking way, man. And I'm so glad that like I do have my car. So like, it's no longer irritating me. I think it also irritated me a little bit because it took longer than expected, because obviously like I wasn't at fault for the accident. I was literally like, I was vibing. I was parked in my parking spot and all that. So like, it's kind of annoying that like I did have to like get my car fixed in general, because I shouldn't have been in a spot where fucking my car was broken.
Yeah, most stuff.
And then just, with delays with shipping, obviously because of like COVID and stuff like that. But like the place that took my car in, they were like, oh man, 6 business days, and it ended up being 12 business days. So it kind of really rubbed me the wrong way that way, just because like, not that obviously it wasn't their fault, because what can you do when you can't get parts and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it just, the fact that like, it was longer, and I should have had it. I basically didn't have a car for like 2.5 weeks because someone else hit me because they were just negligent and all that.
Oh, he's being a dumbass. Yeah, straight up.
For real. So like, yeah, I don't know. It just, everything kind of got to me. And I'm glad it's done, man. I'm glad.
Yeah, straight up. No, that sounds like it was fucking stressful, man. That'd be annoying, like, every day if somebody's, like, reminding you to, like, oh, can you go get this for me? Oh, can you go do this for me? It's like, bruh, like, what the fuck?
Oh, for real, yeah, man. It was just, it's super grating. It's just, like, you don't really know, like, unless you have someone kind of bug you every day about something. I guess it's being a parent, speaking of talking about parents, yeah, get ready for those of you who are doing those gender reveals. You're going to get bugged every day for shit. But yeah, man, it just too much of it every day, just constant. It was like I said, it was like from a bunch of different people. Like my girlfriend would be like, "Oh, you should drive over here and like let's go do this." I'm like, "You're the only one with a car right now." I love her, but she kept forgetting too, and I'm just like, man, it was so annoying. So I'm very glad to be done with that.
That's good. That's actually mad good that you're done. Yeah. I feel you though, man. That's actually mad fucking annoying. I don't know though. For me, man, fucking this desk. I'm sure. Have I told you about this desk I'm working on?
No. Oh, yeah. Actually,
it's that desk.
Yeah. That desk. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So basically, I'm working on this little desk, right? And I'm making it from scratch for a special somebody. And I thought it was gonna be done a long, long time ago, dude. So like, we planned doing this in like, I want to say like maybe mid-July definitely by August we had a plan to do this.
Okay.
But we didn't execute this plan until fucking September 1st. So September 1st we got all the supplies for the desk, which included like 4 legs from IKEA. I can say IKEA, right?
Yeah, you can say IKEA. That's cool.
So I got 4 legs from IKEA. I got this big old slab of wood from fucking I think we got it from Home Depot, I want to say.
Okay.
And then that was pretty much it. And then we had to sand down like the wood and all that and stain it and like all this kind of shit. So in between sanding, staining, all this other stuff, this desk has taken me till fucking now. Now it's like October 7th.
Holy
Like,
shit.
like fuck, bro. And like we're still not done it yet, man. Like we're still spray painting. So basically we spray painted the legs and they got stuck to these plastic bags that we spray painted them with. So
Yeah.
like obviously we couldn't like I mean like the desk isn't for me. If it was for me, I would have been like fuck it, bro. It just happened. But it wasn't for me, so you know, I kind of felt a little bit bad inside. So I was like, I got to fix this. So I ended up me being a fucking genius, I ended up sanding it, and I gotta go through both layers. So there was a layer of white paint on it before. I went through that fucking layer and the layer of paint I put on and the layer underneath.
Holy
straight
shit.
to the steel. So then they were like all steel and shit. But it ended up actually working out for the better because like when I got them all flat, it just took like a really, really long time. Like it took like 2 fucking like whole days of like me coming over and just working on it to like me get those legs like completely like prepped for spray painting.
Holy shit, man. That sounds definitely like a lot of work. I know you guys have been working on that for a long time. I remember getting the text that you guys had to make an emergency trip down to IKEA that one day, and it was just like, you're like, fuck.
Oh, that was another thing. So we had a chair, right? So, oh my God. So we basically
I want to clarify real quick. There's like an hour until IKEA closes, and I think they like it was like an hour and 10 minutes before before it was closing, and like they were like, oh yeah, like by the way, we're taking a trip down to IKEA, and it's about like I think it's what like a 45-50 minute drive. So like they
it's
hustled
about a 59-minute drive.
Yeah, they hustled down there real fucking quick to get there right before IKEA closed, and like IKEA's fucking big, man. Like the one you guys went to the one in. Yeah. It's fucking big, and you have to kind of like move your way around just a little bit to navigate the whole place real quick. So I know you kind of probably pissed some employees off, by the way. But sorry, I'll let you finish there.
Oh no, actually, we executed this bitch mad smooth. So okay, essentially what happened was, we went to IKEA and we found this chair, right? And so when we found this chair, the person that I was with that wanted it, decided to see if we could get it from the IKEA that we were at. We weren't at the IKEA that we ended up going to that Phil was talking about. We ended up going to that one a little bit later. So this first IKEA, we go down, we try and find it. It's not there, but we buy like the bottom part of it, all that. We just have to buy the top part now. So then we make a special mission on, so this is like one whole separate day. So another day comes, we have this bottom part, we just need the top part now. We make a special mission to this one, and we were like, this is the only thing we have to do today is get this chair, then we're home free, we're gonna go back home, we're gonna set it up, we're gonna be watching some fucking Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter.
Yo, by the way, goat anime, fucking my favorite, man. We'll talk a little bit more about that another time, but yeah.
This person actually got me mad into fucking Hunter.
Yo,
Hunter.
I want to say I put them onto it first.
Yeah, I think she said that. Yeah, weird.
All right, my bad. I had to clarify. She had to know. My bad. Go ahead.
But yeah, so basically, we get this chair. That was the only thing we were supposed to do that day. We bring it home, and now this is where shit starts to get fucked up. So I'm setting up the bottom part of the chair. So if you've never been to IKEA, it's kind of weird. They sell their things in 2 different parts. That's why I'm saying the bottom part of the chair and the top part of the chair. So the bottom part of the chair is like a mechanism that you could use on other kind of chairs too, like other kind of seats. And then the seat was just specially like a special color or whatever. So you like buy that part separate. So since we got the color that we wanted and now we were like setting up the bottom, I opened up the chair and I found the screws in it, and they were fucking long. Like they were like probably, I don't know, like maybe like fucking like 4 or 5 inch screws. Like those are fucking long screws, right?
That's long.
And I'm kind of stupid because like I should have fucking used my brain and like just looked at the size of the screw and looked at the fucking thickness of the chair and been like, there's no way that's gonna go all the way in there. But nonetheless, I screwed those fucking 5-inch fucking screws all the way into the chair, and you can probably guess what happened. It basically like went all the way into the chair, and there's these 4 big ass screws hanging out where you'd put your ass.
No.
So then we were like, fuck, yo, like this is not good at all. And we just quickly checked like if we could go get another one. We just got fucking like probably, I want to say like maybe 15 minutes before they closed, we got there. So like right when we left, we were like debating if it was worth going or not.
Fuck.
So like it was just like one of those things where it was like, nah, we have to, yo. Like we definitely we have to try, bro. And like we did, and then like she knew exactly where it was too. So like it like we literally like got there, and like bro, she was like a fucking like a fucking GPS submarine fucking navigating through the water, man. Just went straight to it, man.
Damn.
We just picked that shit right up.
She was on a fucking mission, man.
Hell
She had to...
We were out of there in like fucking 5 minutes, man. It was crazy. And then we went back home. I didn't make the same mistake twice, so.
Hey, there you go. Live and you learn, I guess.
Yeah.
Man, fucking, I love IKEA, though. And my girlfriend does, too, man. She like, sometimes she'll be like, hey, let's go to IKEA. And I'll be like, oh, you need anything specific? And she's like, no. Like, she's like, oh, I kind of need, like, a shelf. Or she's like, oh, I kind of want to, like, look at a new bedspread. I'm like, fuck it, IKEA day, you know what I mean? Because I like their meatballs. I'll be honest, man. They're good shit.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. Their cafeteria slaps. Yo, honestly, I have this theory about stores that you shop in that you like. The things that you like to buy there, if they have a cafeteria there, they could have the worst fucking, they could have fucking Plankton's like chum bucket fucking cave sauce on their shit, bro. It's gonna taste good because you like what you bought there. That's just my theory, you know?
That's, okay, like movie theater food, like, I don't know if you ever, like, actually buy, like, food there. I like, popcorn's, like, standard and all that,
Yeah,
but,
like the nachos and
yeah,
like shit.
okay, like, same, I feel like this, like, applies to, like, fast food and shit, too, okay? So, like, I love Taco Bell, and I know that's a big, you know what I mean?
No, I love Taco Bell too, man. Taco Bell slaps.
Yeah, Taco Bell fucking slaps, man. And I like same thing with these movie nachos. The cheese is fake as fuck, man. It tastes like fucking chemical cheese. But man, if that shit doesn't slap, and I'll fucking eat that bitch, and it's my favorite fucking thing. You dunk in these fucking stale ass chips that the movie theaters had for 8 years in the back, and they're like, "Oh shit, we found these. Better sell them for fucking $20 a pop." And man, I'll still eat them because that cheese fucking slaps, and that's the best part of it. I like if it was more socially acceptable just to fucking straight up shovel cheese with a spoon into my mouth, I'd do it, man. Because that cheese is too good.
Damn. Do you think if you like found like it's got to be like spray on cheese or some shit, right? Like something that maybe.
It comes from a can. I'm gonna be okay. So you ever watch? This could sound weird. This is a weird segment. You ever watch competitive eating on YouTube? You ever get down that YouTube rabbit hole?
I watched like that
Matt Stoney.
Yeah, Stoney.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about. So I like. Sometimes, man, when I can't sleep, like I just surf YouTube and I'm just like, oh, recommended, and I'm just clicking whatever video comes up. So like, I got on some weird things. Like, man, I was talking to you about this one, I think, when we were on vacation, but like I got on like chiropractor and like I got some weird shit, man, and like I don't know, it's calming, but yeah, back to Matt Stone, man. He I was watching him one night because I couldn't sleep, and fucking I just got on like his page, and he fucking did a massive thing where he ate like 10 pounds of like chili cheese fries.
Oh shit.
So, and like 4 pounds of it I think was like this fucking like the movie theater nacho cheese, and it came in these 2 like industrial sized cans, and he had to heat it up in the cans, and then he poured it out, and the cheese poured off of the fucking tray that he had, and it was like on his counter, and he ate like he did it all in like a few minutes or whatever, and he ate all the fries and chili for the most part, and all that was left was the cheese. And like at this point, he'd eaten like 10 pounds of food, and he had to like finish the cheese to like finish the challenge or whatever. And so he was just scooping up this cold cheese that had fallen onto his counter. That like, and at that point, he was like, it was so salty, it was so like filling, it was so. He didn't want any more of that chemically cheese tasting. And yeah, man, and I was sitting there and I was like, yo, low-key, this looks like it kind of slaps. Because, like I say, I was like, I love that fucking cheese. But if I had to eat, 4 pounds of it, and especially when I got cold and on, my kitchen counter and eat it right off there, I don't think I'd do that. But
yeah, that's fucking nasty. I have this weird thing about like fucking eating food that hits the ground or like hits the counter even, and like I just think about like when my mom wipes the counter down, she uses this like for one she uses this fucking nasty ass rag, so that's one part of the equation. Two, she puts like this like nasty ass chemical shit on it, and then like she spreads it. So I'm like, man, if I'm like fucking like, you know, cutting some like, you know, like an apple or some shit and a slice hits that bitch, I definitely got the chemical on there, bro.
Man, yeah, good luck eating that bleach, bro. That's really gonna upset your stomach there.
Literally, bro. Like, fuck, man. And like, I just like, I don't know, my brain overacts with that shit. And I'm like, someone hits the ground, it's just worse. It's like, all right, now people have probably stepped in dog piss today at some point. Like, something's happened, bro. Maybe I know I'm not the most straight shooter when I go pee. I try, man. So you know, like, maybe I stepped on some piss, bro.
Oh my
fuck,
god.
Man, I'm not gonna eat something that hit the ground. No, I know. Hey, I know I'm an animal, man. I just gotta live in my good strengths.
No, you know what, I feel you though. Like, especially like because I have a dog and 2 cats and all that, and like obviously like you do your chores and you clean your floors and like sweep and mop and you do your dishes and all that, but I 100%, like, you know, if someone falls on the ground, just let it go, bro. I know people who will be like, oh yeah, they're like, oh, 5, 10, 30-second rule or whatever. Oh, it's a little dust, I'll blow it off, man. And yeah, and it's just like, you know, as much as shit still gets dirty, man, you know what I mean? And like, people are like, oh, it boosts your immune system, and I'm like, man,
fuck, man, you can't blow COVID off the ground, bro.
Yeah, go lick doorknobs then, man, if you want to fucking ingest germs.
Man,
I don't
people
know,
living spicy, man. Man, I've seen people drop fucking like, man, my one boy, I'm gonna leave his name out of this, obviously.
All right, yeah,
but
yeah.
like, if he ever hears this, he's gonna know.
Cheesed.
So he made fucking like a peanut butter. You know how you can make like peanut butter toast and it, like the peanut butter melts into it and it's like super dope and like mad good and creamy.
Oh, gooey, yeah.
Yeah, so we were doing that, but we were like doing it when we were taking some, you know, some shrooms. Like the peanut butter goes really good with that because it's like the texture is like not as bad. But when it melts a little bit, it's kind of gross. So like, we basically like we're doing it and like he like melted his a little bit too much. Like I told him to like put the dial back a tiny bit and I was like, dude, you're gonna melt it too much, right? And this shit, I kid you not, man, he's spreading it and he burns his hand because the toast is like fucking like extremely hot and the shit face down hits the fucking ground.
Hits the ground. This man's eating it.
He looks at me. He looks at the toast. He doesn't crouch down to pick it up, man. He does one of those golfer fucking pickups when they go to get that shit out the hole, you know, like the fucking putt or whatever, where they go on one leg. He does one of those and like does the daintiest little crouch to pick it up. Doesn't even stand all the way up and fucking eats this shit, man.
No, I knew he was eating that
mother. Inspect it in the full light, man. He still crouched down and he ate it, you know?
Man, he's eating hairballs, eating fucking
all kinds of shit, man. I was like, fuck, dog.
Man, no, that couldn't be me, bro. That couldn't be me for real. Holy shit. You know,
moose.
Yeah, rest in peace to that guy's immune system, man. He's definitely got the COVID.
Probably, man. He also has this other thing. I don't mean to rag on him. He's my dog. He knows I love him. But
of course, man. That's the best part about having friends is you make fun of them every day, man. You know, you gotta tell the homies you love them too. But like at the same time, you know, when they fuck up or they're doing something stupid, you know, you gotta rag on them a bit. You gotta be like, hey, man, you're a fucking idiot, but I love you.
He does this one thing where if we go somewhere and there's like hand sanitizer or whatever, like he like does this like really weird thing where he over sanitizes his hands. And like, you know how like lately I've been going into stores and their hand sanitizer, I understand why it doesn't smell so great because they're like making like a lot of DIY hand sanitizer from
they're like mass producing it real quick and
and like it just smells like shit. But like this guy like coats himself to the elbow with this shit, bro. Like man's just taking a sink bath with this shit, man.
Fucking, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. They got these it smells like shitty tequila, like
terrible.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, and you're like, oh shit, like this reminds me of fucking going to the club, going to the bar, and fucking getting bottom shelf fucking tequila because it's, you know, $1.50 a shot or whatever. You know? But no, I've definitely done that where like, oh, you know, like where you get the ones where it's like you step on it instead of like actually pumping with your hand, so it's like a lot more like cleanly. But fucking, I'll do that or something, or like sometimes the pump just like squirts out too much. And when you have too much on your hands, like number one, it takes forever to like rub into your skin and all that. So you kind of got to go up your wrists a little bit or whatever.
All the
And
way to the elbow.
and the other day I did this by accident, and yeah, and all I could smell, and like it was like burning my nostrils and like my throat because of how like strong the alcohol content or like smell was from it.
Ugh.
And it, yeah, and all, yeah, like I say, I could only smell that like cheap tequila-ness, and it was, yeah, like burning my nose, burning my throat. And I was like, fuck, man, like I want Purell. I want Purell, man. I just want that good shit. And obviously not every place can afford to or can get a supply of, a giant thing of Purell. But man, yeah, the shitty ones are they kind of bum me out. I got a little supply of my own, leave it in the car. And
Hell yeah.
I hit that too. Like, yeah, especially, go to the grocery store, like on your way, like before, you get in, and then you touch stuff, and then on your way out, and fucking when you get back into your car, do it like 3 times a trip or whatever, 3-4 times.
Yeah, most
just
definitely.
to make sure.
Yeah, most definitely. It's definitely one of those things that you want to like keep up on, like, like to the listeners, more or less. I'm saying this because like even though we probably have like 2 listeners, still.
Hey man, both are moms.
Yeah,
they're
both are
gonna
moms.
enjoy this.
But yeah, it's one of those things that it's like never underestimate it. These things are in place for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to stay safe. There's
Yeah.
gonna be like a benefit to doing these things. It's not pointless. It's not pointless to wear a mask. It's not pointless to sanitize.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pointless to social distance. Like these are like,
It's not politically charged or anything. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
it's
for
just for
everyone's best
safety.
health.
yeah, it's
And,
for everybody's best interest. You know.
Everyone kind of harping on that. We don't want to get too much onto that because, I'm sure a lot of people know. But yeah, man, everyone be safe out there.
Yeah, everybody just stay safe.
Safe practices. But switching gears here a little bit, I told you about this earlier. I got a topic I want to talk to you about, and I want it off the cuff because I want your true thoughts. And as soon as I thought of this the other day, because I was interested in it, because I had this random thought, and I was like, this would be good for the podcast, because I was like, I know me and Aman would talk about it just normally, and I know you're gonna love it a lot, but fucking I loved it a lot, and I was just like, no, I gotta say this, I gotta surprise him with it. So this is gonna be a massive gear switch here.
All right.
But let me pick your brain with this. It's gonna freak you out a little bit. Would you, given the possibility, in the future, say like 50 years down the road and you're still alive, you know what I mean? Fucking, we're doing shit at 70, 80 years old. But the technology comes out where you can download people's memories or experiences into your own brain. Would you do it?
Short answer, no. Long answer, yes.
You know what? I'm loving that. Okay, because I see exactly. I knew you would love this topic because I know you would have the immediate, like, you'd be like, no, because it's gonna be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also know you're into that whole, the whole like mind trip and like the
The drugs.
not even specifically that, but like the conspiracy theories and like the blowbacks from society and stuff like that. Like you're into the whole, you like to think of both sides and like precautions and all that. But I was watching something the other day, and it's sports. I was watching. I don't know why I said something, but I was watching the fucking Miami Heat and the Lakers game the other day, and LeBron's a beast, obviously. We're not gonna, Anthony Davis, those guys, and Tyler Herro, fucking, and Jimmy Butler. I mean, those are all my guys. But like, I was watching, and fucking, those guys just play basketball on another level. And I played a lot of baseball. I played travel baseball, in middle school and high school and all that. And I also played volleyball and basketball too, and all that. So like, I like sports, and I just fucking, no matter what, I was never like good or amazing or anything, but I just love the fucking game. And no matter what though, like the level we play at is nothing like super competitive, and I still have fun when I'm just playing rec ball or whatever, or when I was playing in middle school and shit. But I've always wanted to know what it's like to fucking play at the higher level, to have that like that experience, that knowledge, like because especially like basketball IQ too, because it's not just like you can be good at the game and very athletic and all that, but you also have to have that knowledge, you know what I mean? Like, a pass here is better. Oh, we're going to set up we're going to set up this play, you know, we're going to have people here. Oh, you don't fucking fake here. And just like knowing people who, you know, play at that higher level, it's such a different experience. And like, same with like, you know, we talked a little bit about this last time about video games too. Like, those people who are in like the top, you know, 100 people in the world to play or something, and like, they're different from, you know, me and you and stuff like that. And it's just like, same with like famous artists and stuff like that when they're giving a concert. Like, I just like these experiences and these like this knowledge and stuff that they have. Like, I'd love to like be able to experience that one day and be like, this is what it's like to perform in front of, you know, 50,000 people. This is what it's like to win the fucking NBA championship, like shit like that. And so I was just like, fuck, man, you know, in our lifetime, if, you know, this whole thing with, you know, Elon Musk and shit, and he's like, oh man, we're gonna put music chips in, you know, in like our brains and shit like that, and he's like,
SD
and
cards.
yeah, and fucking, he's like, oh fucking, you know, we're gonna do all this shit, we're gonna terraform Mars and shit. Like, this man's crazy, but you know, he's got these ideas, and it was coming to me, and I was just like, if I could do that in 50 years, and I'm gonna be 70 years old, and like, I could fucking download LeBron James memories into my head and be like, shit, this is what it feels like. I was like, I think I'd fucking do it, because I want to know what it's like, and I want to feel and experience that, because like, I probably will never experience anything as remotely fucking cool in my life as, you know, and I'm not trying to get on that, but like, but as crazy as that sounds, and I was just like, I know there's like a lot of drawbacks to it, and people are like, oh, privacy, like, because like, oh, you know, what's the limit, you know, like technology, like downloading into your brain and shit, like, you know, this obviously, it's a lot of science fiction, because, you know, you can't really download or like upload your brain. Yeah. But you know, if it was possible, I think I'd do it. And I wanted to get your opinion on it, because I know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's like, yeah, it's a really hard thing to gauge, because like, honestly, I would say no, and I'm very firm in saying no, and for the reason of like I don't want to be like spending my time alive living somebody else's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I being alive is a blessing, and like being able to like wake up and like word and like just do whatever the fuck you want to do, and like put your hands to create, or put your hands to destroy, or put your hands to love, or put your hands to hate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get into your bag in any way you want, but you're in control. And I feel like as soon as you're kind of like downloading somebody else's brain into yours, you're giving up that control. It's almost like when you have like a Mac and you get boot camp on it, and you partition the hard drive so you can run a Windows PC on it. Your Mac's like never the same after that, you know? It doesn't run as fast. It's not as good. You're not using it to its fullest potential. And like, I feel like if you're doing that, you're not really accessing your brain to the fullest like thing. And like, I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but like, I would rather like, you know, instead of like watching somebody else's life go by, like, and stuff, like, I'd rather make my own moments that somebody else can watch later if they want to. But like, I'm cool living it the way, like, cause like, you know, I get like a lot of satisfaction in like doing like stupid ass shit. Like, fucking, I put a mirror in my room the other day, and that shit was like so satisfying, and like, it gave me the same feeling I get when I make a beat, or like when I like, I don't know, draw a picture, or like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I 100% get what you're saying. Like, this is exactly why I wanted to talk to you about this topic, because I know you think a like about this, and like, I know you're very much of like you're a very artistic person, and you really like the feel, like the self-satisfaction of, you know, creating and you know, basically doing stuff like that, and you get the big satisfaction from that. And I 100% like, I do agree with you. Like, you know, like, especially as you're talking about like when you're like making a beat or something like that. Like, when we first started talking about doing this podcast, and like we recorded our first episode, and like even today, like last night, I was like so excited about it, because you're like,
yeah.
You know, and then like, and we were talking about like, oh, you know, we got to do a little bit of graphic design, and like, you know, talking about like the intro and stuff, and you were showing me, and like, and we were getting into it, and just like, creating is definitely definitely the move, man. And I'm really feeling it lately. And I 100% understand what you're talking about. Like, you want to live your own experiences and stuff like that. And I definitely understand where you're coming from. And yeah, like, man, it's very hard because like I do agree with you, where it's just like live your own life, do your own cool shit, like because you don't want to chase the highs of other people, because like especially when you're always comparing, like even not even to like famous people, but like if you're comparing yourself to your neighbor, that guy you see on Instagram, that guy that you pass by like with the better car or whatever. Like when you compare yourself to a lot of other people, it really brings down like your mood and like and you're like your own self-esteem and stuff like
you're
that.
Not
so you
really
can't
working on anything productive. You're more or less just tearing yourself down.
exactly,
not
and like
really affecting that person.
Yeah, and it's like, of course, like that it goes into a little bit more of like mental health talk and stuff like that. And sometimes you can't really control like jealousy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think definitely what you're getting at here is just like in the grand scheme of things, comparing yourself and trying to live other people's experiences is not genuine to yourself. And it's definitely not in your own like best interest, because
most definitely,
like you said, everyone's life is different. Everyone's got different goals, different, basically, different lives to live. And it's okay to live your life.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
definitely
But
on like on the flip side of it though, I do agree. Like I would say yes to some things. So this is where kind of like the flip is.
Exactly. See, because like that. I know we're just getting to a little bit of a, it's bad to, you should want to live your own life and all that. And like, we're about to do a 180 flip here, but
yeah, so like,
there's gotta be some really fucking cool moments you want to live, right?
Yeah. So there's like, kind of like, my thing is like, in doing those moments where you're living other people's like memories and you're downloading them, if you're spending all the time, watching the highs and only watching the successes, and you don't spend any time learning from when they were fucked up, when they were like younger and they were trying to like figure shit out and trying to learn how to play an instrument maybe, or trying to learn how to like edit a film or some shit, or maybe it's their second week of university. You just want to see how they were like. I would spend the time watching those, but like on a very strict diet of consumption, not necessarily living those. There's certain things that, there's this producer named Jay Dilla that like, he's passed away now, but fuck dog, if I could watch an hour of his life, trust me, I would, man. Like, yo, bro, I would get that shit so quick.
Like DJ Screw and stuff like that. If you
there's
could, like,
some people that there's some people I would accept that for, but not to watch when they're performing like at an award show, or like at the high. Like I just want to see them create, and like I just want to see how they got down, and just like see what their thought pattern was like, and just see like,
for real,
learn from them, really just kind of learn from them. Because like I watch like all these old ass videos of them in the studio, and that's basically what I'm doing, like I'm watching them exactly how they have their keyboard set up, exactly what angle it's set up, as stupid as it sounds, like how fucking high they got the MPC off the ground and shit. And like fucking like I'm literally just watching it. So like if I could like access their memories and like have them explain to me in their head, like I could kind of see the framework of why they're doing those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then fuck yeah, but like,
no, I totally get it.
Though.
I totally get it. Like especially when you're talking about like seeing their hardships and learning too and stuff like that. Like if I go back to, I talked a little bit about LeBron, how he's a beast, but like if you know his story about being essentially homeless and like his dad abandoning him as a kid, and people basically taking him in at a young age to try and foster the natural talent he had, and like he obviously got very lucky that he had someone influential in his life to like push him to do good instead of bad or anything, or what I mean, or kept him out of. And he obviously had a lot of hardship growing up and all that, and so it's important to remember about like where he came from, and like he did have those moments where people doubted him, and he still has people doubt him to this day, obviously. And like the whole like GOAT debate is like a whole nother topic, because like people are like, oh, he's not that good of a player, and like never will be as great as Jordan, and like I said, a whole nother topic. But the man has obviously like proved a lot of shit, and yeah, this definitely, like, I think as great as it would be to like definitely see those highs, like I was saying, winning the NBA championship and shit, but it's also would be incredibly humbling to see those nights he did struggle, those nights where like it
wasn't easy,
right,
sure.
but like that's the thing though. Those are also private moments. Like
Yeah,
I would hate
yeah.
for someone to see, you know, the nights I struggled and like, you know what I mean? And like
All the times I'm looking in the mirror, tearing up, I'm just like,
yeah,
fuck this
man,
shit,
like
bro.
yeah, you know, as shitty as it sounds, like, because like I think we definitely look up to these people and we're like, oh, these are legends, these are stars, you know, and we're seeing these great moments and we want to be like them, we want to experience what they experience, but in our own way. But you don't see their struggles as often, or you don't know everything about them. You just see the greatness, you see the side of them they want you to see.
Yeah, that's true, you know, and like, I think that like maybe fuck man, nobody knows what the afterlife is, but maybe that's what it is, man. Maybe you just get in there, it's like a fucking white waiting room, you know, there's all these like fucking characters on the screen, you know, you can play as whoever you want.
Real quick, you ever see the TV show The Good Place?
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Yo, that's my fucking
that's my
shit,
boy,
dog.
that's my
Yo,
boy.
The Good Place bangs,
Yeah,
bro.
that's gonna be your
10 out of 10 recommend.
yeah. That's a
Hell
review.
yeah.
It's basically good as fuck. Watch that shit.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very dope concept, and it's like, so when you get when you get deep into the show and you kind of get the twist a little bit, then it starts to get really, really sick, you know?
Oh man,
It's a very, very good show.
yeah. But yeah, basically that premise is they die and they're in the afterlife and shit's going awry and they don't know why, they don't know what's happening, and you know, those good moments where they're playing video games and experiencing all they can and you know, doing whatever, learning and having all these experience with these, you know, famous people, or like living vicariously through them and memories and shit like that. It's crazy to see, and like the show is a comedy and like it's got a lot of funny moments and some twists about like, oh, the whole take on like, oh, heaven isn't perfect and all that. It's definitely got a lot of like philosophy and like, you know, speaking on what we were talking about a little bit there about how like, you know, definitely how everyone's life is unique, and you know, you got to learn to, you know, not only live with it but enjoy it and experience it and, you know, live life to the best. But
Most
definitely watch The Good Place. That's a review. Fucking get on that shit if you haven't seen it. It's like 4 seasons.
Yeah,
they canceled it. Not canceled. They ended it how they wanted to. They wanted.
They kind of have a bullshit little ending. It's not really a good ending, but
I don't mind it, man. Honestly, like
I didn't really like it, to be honest.
I can understand why. And like at first, yeah, I was kind of like a little not bitter about it, but like I was like, man, because like they did end it how they wanted it. They're like, we only want like the 4 seasons. Like I think the network wanted more, and they were like, the guys who created it were like, no, we're done. This is the story we wanted to tell. We got everything out of the, you know, out of it that we wanted. Like this is how we think it should wrap up, and it's it definitely left me wanting more, because I'm like, you just get so like involved in like loving the characters, all of them. They all have. It's
kind of weird that it ends like so weirdly, you know.
But I think you know, despite that, I think it's still a top-notch show. It's a comedy, but like I said, it says a lot about life and all that and what we were talking about. So yeah, hop on that, get on that, guys.
Hell yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got to pick your brain a little bit about this whole topic, because like I said, I knew you were gonna be interested in it. I knew you were gonna love it.
Yeah, it's actually a dope topic. Yeah, for sure. All right, let me hit you with a would you rather off the top of my dome.
Love these.
Okay.
By the way, one real quick, I fucking I got a good one. I'll tell you after about. So remind me to tell you about that one.
Okay. All right.
Not available for podcast listeners. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. I get what you're saying. All right. Okay, so would you rather be born with $1 million in your bank account, or when you turn 21, you have $1 million in your bank account?
It's a good question, man. Okay. If I choose as I'm born, like, no, it doesn't get like, you know, any taxes, or like does it get like any money added to it, or like subtract, like is there fees, is there interest?
You would have to if you get it from the day you're born, chances are, I'm basing this off of like our like timeline of like the age that we are.
Yeah.
So like, think back to 90 wherever, because I'm not gonna put that on.
Yeah. Okay.
And then think back to then and how the economy is, and then think back to when we were 21 and how the economy was, and then just think about like how would you utilize it differently back then, and you kind of know some things that happen that you can invest in, you know.
Okay.
A BITC.
All right.
OIN.
No, see, if I chose it as a kid, I don't think I'd choose that, honestly, because as much as like it would stack interest or like, you know, might lose like fees or whatever, you know, it might have accumulated like enough interest where it's a little bit more than $1 million or, you know, whatever, depending on how much like is invested and, you know, how much your account is, you know, going to accumulate interest on. But I think I'd take it at 21 because I'm 23 right now. So I like only 2 years ago, right? And a lot has happened in 2 years, especially like right now, like the whole like the dip in the economy and shit like that this year and all that. But I have this is gonna sound conceited, but I have a thing about like if you grew up rich, you're kind of an asshole.
Yeah, most stuff.
Okay, like, and obviously that's like a blanket statement. Not everyone fucking who grew up rich is an asshole, but I definitely like. I think back to the moments where I was in high school and I drove my first car. I bought my first car for $500. Bro, it was. I'm gonna be honest. It was really.
Did you get it at the flea market?
Bro, it was really sketchy. Like really shit. I was some guy. Like I think it was Facebook Marketplace.
Oh shit!
And I was like, "Hey man, okay." It was a 2001 Sebring, and so it had a drop top, so it was a convertible. And it had leather interior and like wood styled paneling and all that. So I was like, hey man, like,
shit, you
and like
a nice one.
And honestly, I drove it for a little bit, and like when I was driving it, it wasn't that shitty and all that, whatever. So I got it home and drove it for a little bit, and then obviously I got some issues pretty quickly because it was fucking a
What
five.
was like the first major issue you got with it, where it was like kind of like you started questioning it?
Man, I was downtown and I was in the middle of traffic, and my car just stalled and turned off on me. Yeah, that shit was scary. That's why I have a thing now where I won't drive a car unless I know it's like
Safety certified.
Yeah, or like
and all
if
that?
someone's just like, oh, by the way, like fucking my ball joint's going, or like, oh, the engine's acting up or whatever. Like if my aunt was just like, 'cause my aunt a couple years ago had a really shitty car, and I had to borrow it the one day, and fucking I hated every moment of driving it. But so yeah, this first car really caused a sense of like, fuck man, I was scared, and I will not drive a car I don't know is fucking like 100% okay. But yeah, so I was driving downtown with my uncle. Actually, what was it? I think it was summer. Like I just gotten done for like the school year, something like that. And so me and him were grabbing some Chinese because he's over at my house, and we were bringing it back for the family. And I was like, oh, like uncle, like you know, let me show you my car. Like let's go for a little spin, you know what I mean, whatever. And he's like, yeah, let's run it. And so fucking we're driving downtown, and we fucking get Chinese food, and we're driving back, and fucking we're in the middle of traffic, man. We fucking stall, and I panic, and fucking he had to help me fucking push it to the side, and fucking.
Oh, you guys had to push it?
Yeah, and like I'm literally talking like fucking I don't know if people aren't gonna know too much about our downtown, but it's fucking, the streets are small, and it's
like a weird shape too. Like
yeah, like it's very old school and all that. And so I was downtown, and fucking people park on the side there too. Yeah. And so it was a narrow street, and fucking I had to push myself to the side and let people like go past me, and they were kind of pissed. I was like, man, I don't know what you want me to do. Like I fucking, and it wouldn't. Yeah, my car wouldn't start again, and it stalled out, and fucking. Oh man, I was so like upset and all that. And then we got home, and fucking I was like, oh, I don't know, whatever. And I was talking to my parents or whatever, and they're like, oh, like my dad, he's a bit more mechanically inclined, so I called him, and he's just like, he's like, it might be this, it might be that, or whatever. He's like, yo, I know a guy. My dad knows fucking. My girlfriend says I know a lot of people. My dad fucking knows a lot of people, and I think I get it from him, where it just fucking. I'll be like, yo, I know that person, and my dad's like, oh yeah, like I know their dad, I know their their uncle, like you know what I mean, like he just knows a lot of people. So he was like, yeah, he's like, I know a guy. He's like, let me call him up. He's got a friend. He works for the Chrysler like the dealership, which is Chrysler Sebring or whatever. So this guy comes out to my house fucking late at night. It was not pitch black, but it was dark as fuck. So we had to get flashlights and shit. This guy just got done work, and he fucking he's like, yo, usually if you bring us into the dealership, he's like, I charge like a fucking enormous rate because he's like, I guess good at his job, but he's just like, yo, I'm no, he didn't really say this to me, but basically he told my dad, he's just like, yo, I'm doing you a favor, you know what I mean? So he came out and he was like, yeah, it looks like this, this problem or whatever, and he's like, you're gonna need this part and this part, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay. So, by the way, I was fucking 16, 17 or no 17, yeah. It was my first car, and it was a convertible. Technically like a sports car.
Oh,
I was
you
paying
got fucked on
I was
insurance,
paying
eh?
$330 Canadian a month in insurance. So I was still paying that while my car was off the road at this point and still trying to fix it. So I invested I want to say like $2,000, $2,500 into it to try and fix it. And it was good for a little bit, and then I was back at school in my last year, and all the boys, we were hopping in to go to McDonald's for lunch the one day, and fucking in the parking lot, I remember it stalled, and the one guy next to me, he is bringing it back because he's rich, right?
Yeah.
And his dad just bought him this expensive Jeep and all that. Anyways, I stalled my car, and I was starting to back up, and he rolled his window down, and he's just like, oh, you stole your car and all that, and and I was like, oh yeah, and all that, and he's kind of laughing and all that, right?
Yeah.
He was just a giant fucking prick and all that, but yeah, and then anyways, got it going again, got to McDonald's, got home, and but yeah, my car basically kept stalling shortly after that, and I just didn't want to put any more money into it because I was like, I invested $2,000 into this $500 car. So yeah, I ended up scrapping it. I got a couple $100s out of it, but yeah, so going back to your initial question, we kind of sidetracked a little bit there. I definitely think I would take it at 21 because if I had that money growing up, I definitely think I would have been a lot different than I am now. I wouldn't have had those struggles and those things that made me. But yeah, at 21, I definitely would have I think I feel smarter now. I know I'm still fucking kind of dumb, but I definitely was smarter than I was 2 years ago. And I'm sure 21-year-old me thought I was smarter than I was, fucking 2 years ago before that at, 19 too. It's definitely just a thing growing up. But yeah, I would have definitely picked, I think, at 21 because I would have been a lot smarter with my decisions, and I would have been a lot more ready to handle a lot of money at once.
Yeah, I feel that.
What about you?
For me personally, I think I would take it at a young age, right from when I'm born. Like I said, there's a couple Bitcoin, opportunities, a couple come ups that would have came, when I was in grade 8. So definitely having that money as a baby, I'd be balling out, man. I'd be investing that shit left, right, and center. And
of course,
I definitely remember when I was growing up, being hella poor and shit, and that was just one thing that I remember the white kids would make fun of me for I don't know, my pants sagging, but meanwhile my mom would just buy them a size up because I kept growing and shit.
Real quick, shout out poor tall boys, man. I definitely I know that, dude. Fucking my grandparents would buy me a pair of pants or something like that for Christmas. They'd be like, oh, here's your Christmas gift, a nice sweater and
some corduroy pants.
Yeah, and they would do
brown corduroy pants.
But oh dude, I had the ugliest sweater from my grandparents on Christmas.
Oh.
But yeah, they would get me clothing that was a little bit bigger so I could grow into it because I was growing at such a fast rate, especially around around 11, 12, I was hitting giant growth spurts and
that was definitely around that age, that's
But yeah, sorry, but yeah, I know what you're saying there.
So shit was, when I was growing up, it would have been nice to not have to worry about that kind of shit. So I definitely would have changed that. And I don't know.
Real quick, do you think it would have changed you though? Because you're saying you would have invested in Bitcoin, you were saying
That's the thing. Like, I think like if I were to grow up that way without the given knowledge I have, I don't think I would be the same person I am.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of a lose-lose situation. Like that kind of money, like for somebody like me, isn't like
It's nothing to
something-
laugh at or sneeze at, or you know what I mean. It's
if
a
it
giant.
if it comes at the right time when I'm in the right state of mind, it's powerful. But when
Mhm.
it comes when I'm, you know, like just like anybody else, you know, I'm sure like everybody has their bad days. You know, sometimes it's just like, you know, talking about money like that and just kind of watching like how, even just like how artists like fuck themselves up, but not deeper than artists, just how like everyday people fuck themselves up, you know? And like they don't really like, they buy things they can't afford and all that kind of shit, and then they end up like on this very very tight rope of in debt but not in debt, but like trying to keep up an image instead of just buying what they can afford and living
Exactly.
within their means. And like yeah,
I definitely, like they say, money obviously doesn't buy happiness, but I think it creates a pathway to a lot more happiness. But like you're saying there, you know, you can be rich and keep buying yourself expensive like toys and Ferraris and, you know, fucking trips and all that. But and like that can obviously create happiness for, you know, for some people and for so long and stuff like that. But like when you keep trying to keep up with that happiness, and like you're saying, when these people are so rich that they're buying so much shit and they can't afford to especially like when you see like these new rappers who are coming out and they're getting, you know, a 360 deal.
that shit is crazy.
Yeah,
you want to talk
360s
about that for a bit?
Yeah, okay, let me finish this thought. I know we gotta wrap
this our last topic up?
Yeah, we'll make this our last topic real quick. But yeah, like especially these new rappers getting these 360 deals, and they're like, oh hey man, we're gonna give you an advance of, you know, 1.5 mil. You're gonna owe us 7 albums. You're gonna be signed to the label for, you know, 800 years and all that. 800 years. Yeah, but they're gonna these record labels, man,
years and all that.
These record labels are gonna invent immortality just to keep these artists signed for 800 years, bro. Fucking milk them for all their work. But no, but you see these new guys, and they're not like Travis Scott rich. They're not fucking Jay-Z rich. You know what I mean? Like obviously Jay-Z rich and Travis Scott are two different fucking levels of wealth, but they're both still well. You can name any artist you want or whatever, but they're all rich. But you see these guys who blow up for a little bit, like and they're getting, you know, they'll have like one popular song or like one hit album or whatever, and you know what I mean? And they're signing these big deals, and they're getting trapped in these bad deals. And then, but the thing is because now that they're on a label, they're a professional rapper. They got to keep up this image. So they're going to Ben Baller. They're buying change. They're like they're going to fucking
their money on shit.
Yeah, they're going
bro.
to Complex and doing, you know, the sneakers, and like, you know, they'll go and they'll be like, hey man. They're just blowing all their money. They'll be like, oh, you know, $10,000 sneakers. I'll take 6 of them. You know what I mean? Oh, like
that's the crazy thing. That show, that fucking with that Joe dude, Joe Puma or whatever. Like Joe's like his like I used to like that show, but like the more I watch it, I don't know if I'm just like hating or whatever, but like it's just like he's like so fake and like corny now. It's just like he's like encouraging them to like waste their money now, and it's like,
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying?
Also,
it's like fuck.
I really like sneakers as a person, and so I hate these limited releases, like, you know what I mean? Because like fucking the Sean Weatherspoon 97s, like, I don't, you know those, right?
Yeah.
And fucking they go for crazy amount. And I know a guy who was he resold like all his fucking Supreme and like Palace, like, so he was on that shit. So he got a legit pair for like for retail. And he actually like skated and beat the fuck out of them, and he would wear them to work and all that. And like I respected him a lot for it, because those were fucking probably one of my grails. And now knowing that he could have fucking cashed out, got, you know, a couple $1,000s for them, but he chose instead wear his shoes like that. And like I definitely hate the kind of, you know, all that shit. But yeah, going back to fucking rappers signing 360 deals, they're getting this money, and then they have to keep up this image. They have to, you know, keep buying, keep fucking flaunting. They have to, and it's hard too, because especially they're getting into these shitty deals. In case you don't know what a 360 deal is, it's basically you sign your life away to these fucking record labels, man. You get an upfront, you know, a signing bonus.
You basically get a signing bonus, but they get all your money from like your shows, any merch sales you make, any CD sales you make, anything that you sell that has to do with your name. They're fucking making money on that shit.
Yeah, anything you profit on, they take their cut first, and it's not like, oh, it's not, we're gonna take 5% of all your sales. They're taking a majority. So most of these people, especially like artists, only survive off of touring, because like record labels already take a lot of their money from like sales and shit like that, right? And so a lot of artists tour because they get merch sales and and ticket sales and all that, and usually that's a good amount of income for them. But when these new rappers or artists or whatever, it's not just rap, it's artists in general.
Honestly, dude, like I've kind of noticed this trend a little bit more and more, just with like, this has existed in rock and punk music since fucking like Sharon Osbourne was managing bands. Mm-hmm. Like there's like all these like older documentaries about like kind of like the bands that she had like fucked over that I watched, and it sounds like the same deals that rappers are getting now. That was like the mainstream pop music at the time. So these are just like reused pop contracts. Like they're not like making anything special to like fuck everybody. They're just reusing old terminology, and like that's just the record company's game though, because like they need to like realistically think about what a record company does in 2020. You know, that like what a record company did in 1950 is way different than a record company does in 2020. You know, they're not like pressing out records and that's like the only way you can hear it, and they're sending it out to radio stations like they did in like the 50s.
Yeah, now
it's like way different. Now it's like all like the online game, which you can access the internet for free if you try hard enough, you know? Mm-hmm. But like this shit is all available to you, you know? You don't need a record label to do anything except for like maybe distribution and all that, and that's only because they have a tight fucking chokehold on that game. You know, if they didn't have all those like outlets and all those connections and all that, and you're able to weasel your way in there and get your own deal, you're so much better off doing that instead of like fucking grabbing on the nuts of another fucking label trying to do your thing, you know?
Well, we're almost done here, ladies and gentlemen, so we're just gonna switch up real quick. While we're keeping in the topic of music, we're gonna give you a couple quick reviews on our way out here. Aman, what have you been listening to lately? What do you want to review?
So recently I went to a thrift store and I got this Green Day CD called Nimrod. It's a banger, man. I definitely suggest if you haven't heard it yet. It's an older album. Yeah, it slaps, man. It's got like a good I don't know, just a good sound to it, a good mix to it. The album just sounds really, really good, you know? And like I've been a fan of like their more like mainstream stuff in the past before. Mm-hmm. And like gotten into that stuff, but I haven't really gotten into their older stuff. So like this album was like I don't know, I think like a good stepping stone, you know, to kind of like transition into that. But it was a very, very dope album. Definitely worth a listen.
That's awesome. I definitely I grew up on Green Day, Avril Lavigne, Simple Plan, Sum 41, like the whole, you know, alt rock, the early 2000s rock, whatever you want to call it. They did, but definitely the older Green Day that hits so much, man. You got some classics on there, and definitely finding that while you're thrifting was definitely a way to
good
go
find,
there.
man.
Yeah, that's an amazing find. I'm surprised you found that, actually. That's kind of crazy.
Word.
On my way here, I want to just kind of give a shout out to Rico and Nasty. I've been really into the whole. I was telling you a little bit earlier, the hyper pop, the indie pop, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I've definitely been onto that lately, and like a little bit of electronic and all that. But yeah, I've really been enjoying some Rico Nasty lately, so I definitely think that if you guys are interested in anything like that, give her a look. She's got straight bars. She's got some crazy beats. She definitely goes in. So that's my recommendation for the week. So definitely check her out. Definitely check out some older of that 2000s music, as we were talking about with the Green Day there. And yeah, we'll hit you with something next week. But that's all we have time for today. So thank you for listening. Make sure to check out all our social media. It'll be linked in the bottom there. Recommend us to friends. And thank you for listening.
See you guys next week.